We're rolling.
What is up?
Hi.
What's going on, guys?
We're rolling. How about we're rolling? We forgot about that already?
We cut that in later. It's just part of the opening sound now.
Shit.
You just screwed it all up, Junior. Thank you.
Well.
By the way, no cursing within the first 5 minutes. What did I say?
Start over. He
Did I
said
say
it. Yeah.
No. we got to bleep that one out. Brendan Shaw told everybody he was on
YouTube.
Rogan. He was on Rogan telling people
YouTube.
Can't curse within the first 5 minutes of a video,
Yeah.
or you don't
Gotta
get
get the hacks.
it gets demonetized. And
That's the YouTube have.
Can you say Spotify in the first 5 minutes?
yeah, oh man, what a deal, huh? Listen, so welcome back to the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast, everybody. It's been a while, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been together.
3 months?
Well, you and I did the Zoom. We'll
You
talk
had a-
about that in a little bit. We did a little We Defy thing together, so
Yeah,
we
you
were
had a
able to
little
cough
scare?
on each other.
had a little scare, too?
Yeah, I made sure you didn't touch me, but we did a little Zoom for them, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. That was really fun. I had a great time, man. That was good.
Yeah, that was a great
We
great
interviewed
episode.
on Zoom. We interviewed the founders of We Defy.
I watched that one.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last
you
time
didn't,
I was
you didn't,
here.
You didn't watch it
No.
because it's not public.
Oh no! Oh yeah! Oh, the private one.
I had
after you
TJ.
talked to
Yeah, I
them.
had TJ on, but we did a Zoom where we had a bunch of podcast patrons
Yeah.
and ambassadors for We Defy.
I just remember
Come
like
on.
the old Air Force pilot guy that you talked to.
TJ
Right.
Kreitzer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good
real
podcast.
cool dude. So welcome back again. We're brought to you by the JJD Podcast Consulting. VJD.
Nice,
That's the first time I'm
nice.
saying that. I got to say that right. So we're brought to you by JJD Podcast Consulting, which is the now like parent company of this podcast and another one that we'll talk about soon. We're also sponsored by Fightback CBD. You get 15% off of your CBD order with code JJD at fightbackcbd.com, and you can check them out at Fightback CBD on Instagram and Facebook. All right. So stay tuned till later on in the program, everybody. We're going to do some cool giveaways. We're always giving stuff away. We've got some cool listener questions today as well. This is episode 22. This is our first post quarantine episode.
Who's this guy? It's not Mauricio.
Yeah, I don't know. We
That's
found him
not
outside.
Raul?
We're like, listen, just sit here. We
Definitely
need
not
another
Janet.
body.
Yeah.
So this is Miguel. He's one of our training
What's
partners.
up, Miguel?
Why don't
Yeah,
you
how's it
go?
going, Gene?
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Name, rank, serial number.
Oh,
Go ahead,
man.
tell the people.
My name's Miguel. I'm a white belt under Felipe and
Don't
Sofia
say it.
Amarante.
You say it like it's such a bad, but white
It's just
belt.
like I don't know. I just started.
He's a white belt with wrestling experience, so he's one of those.
Yeah.
So
Don't be fooled.
don't get it twisted. He's a white belt, but he's pretty tough. One of the tougher white belts that when you started, it was like, yeah, this guy knows a little something, and then we had a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So
Actually, like early on in my military career was when they first introduced the Jiu-Jitsu program, the combatives
what is it called?
program.
Matt? What is it called?
Combatives, yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
combatives. So then I actually did my combatives level 1 training certification course in sapper school in Missouri.
Okay.
So it was
Easy
really
with
interesting.
the acronyms there. Easy with the acronyms there.
Oh, okay.
Sapper, break that
Yeah,
down real quick.
that's a combat engineer. It's
you
just a
go.
school where they teach you essentially how to tie a bunch of knots and make
High level
yeah,
stuff.
high level
High level. Are you sure you're able to share this? Do we need security clearance?
make
Stuff?
explosives and then clear out a landing zone and then just survival stuff. It's like Ranger School, just compressed. Some say a bit tougher because of how short it is and how tough it is, but
Okay.
it was a cool course, and they taught us there. It was really nice. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it was really tough to unlearn the wrestling stuff because you're so used to bellying down, and as soon as you belly down, you expose your back and you just get choked.
But how do you feel the wrestling's helped you with jiu-jitsu? I mean,
Good base,
Yeah.
definitely good base. My sprawl is definitely good. So like a jiu-jitsu shot, I mean everybody's getting way better from what I see.
Yeah.
But just the ability, it's instinctive for me to sprawl, throw my legs back, and then spin around. But I finally got rid of the habit of bellying out.
Okay.
Just go to your back. Fight.
All right.
You got choked enough.
Yeah.
Enough guillotines.
What do they say? Repetition is the mother of all something.
That's it.
We also, Junior, welcome back.
Good to see you, brother.
It's been a whole week since we've seen each other. 2 weeks?
No,
When
2
did we do
weeks.
the-
2
When
weeks.
did we do the Zoom?
You quarantined yourself, remember?
Yeah, I got quarantined myself. I actually got sick
You got a
last
scare.
week.
You got a scare.
I had to do the COVID test, negative. And,
It's good.
no, it's like, do you hope you have it and get through it? Or I was sick for 2 days. So after the 2 days, I was like, man, I hope I had it. I hope that was it. And I could just be done with this shit. You know?
Okay, I think
Check that box. Let me check that box. Had it.
Yeah. So I could just get back to regular life, man. It's so freaking crazy.
I
out
think
there.
everybody forgets the fact that your immune system could just fight it off, and then you could just never get it.
Well, I mean,
That's an option.
Well, can you fight it? Would you have the antibodies then
No,
at that point?
no,
or
you literally fight it off. Like that's it. Like you just never
catch
get.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's like it comes in, and then your body does what it's supposed to do, and then you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a scientist, just
See, you would
common sense.
If you wouldn't have washed your belt, you might.
I would have been building up.
You
I
might
would have
never
building
even
up.
have got it.
Has that changed for you?
Or
Do
maybe
you-
one day.
So wait, let's talk about training. Have you been training
Nah, man. It's
You
been
haven't?
like 3 months.
because of COVID, or you got an injury? You
Well,
can't.
because of COVID, because of work. I think I took advantage just to heal up.
Yeah.
My shoulders feel great. My
Yeah.
knees feel great. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. How about
I've been training.
I heard you moved into the school.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I've been training,
Say
and then
9 days straight? Did you tell me?
Yeah, I think it's just 9 days straight, and I trained this morning. And then I'm also taking advantage. My family's up north right now.
Okay.
My wife, and my kids, and so I've just been really getting after it.
That's it, man. What else
Yeah.
are you gonna do?
It's nothing. I'm so bored when I get home. All I do is like I play with the cat and the dog.
And you
then-
talk to them in Portuguese?
Yes. Well, a Portuguese accent. I don't know any Portuguese.
So what's up with the knee? The doctor. So it was broken.
Look at it.
So, let's
Bro,
see.
get this. Look at this. It works.
It was broken. It was broken. You needed an MRI.
You know,
and an ACL reconstruction, meniscus,
I hate-
and MCL, and
The worst thing you could possibly do is tell Junior he was right.
Yeah.
Junior was right.
I don't even want to hear
So
that, man.
I'm legit. I went to my doctor, and he told me that I got an MRI. You have an ACL tear, and you have an MCL tear. Very clear. Very, very clear. Started doing telemed therapy sessions.
Okay.
And I'm like, I feel good. I went back to the doctor one time. He's just like, oh yeah, you looks like your ACL is healed. And I'm like, he said to me, yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You can't tear it and then it's going to heal. They got to
Doesn't regenerate.
Long story
No,
short,
MCL does though.
It will. Well, if you take care of it.
Yeah.
Which, for an MCL tear, you have to be off of it, not weight bearing.
you had
for-
an ACL and an MCL. You've had both.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. So he tells me, he's like, the way you're explaining it to me doesn't sound right. You should get a second opinion. So I asked the therapist, hey, I'm confused. Tear. Then he says, the doctor tells me a sprain in my last visit. And he says, no, it says sprain right here. I said, but he told me it was a tear. He says, no, well, the tear would be this. And I'm like, I'm running around saying I have a tear.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
running around saying I'm not going to be back in the gym for
Damning
9
people.
months.
Damning people.
Yeah. Sorry, Felipe. Sorry, coach. So yeah, I got to take that, take the spell off him, the curse. I got to take the curse off of him. So, I'm doing the therapy. I feel pretty good. Actually, I got to keep the brace on. I don't have it on right now. I should keep the brace on because every once in a while I go to bend down to get something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've kind of maybe messed with myself a little bit. So I got to keep the brace on just as a reminder to not try to like squat down and get something. But apparently they were just sprains. I'm pretty good. Probably another month before I can really start exercising. And I think maybe 2 before I can train.
So what you're saying is you're going to be playing guard.
In the beginning,
Yeah, all right.
yeah. I'm going to hopefully tomorrow's Father's Day. My birthday's at the end of the month.
Nice.
I gave my wife a list of things to get me, and one of them was that combat trainer, that big like ball with the little
Yeah,
short
seen
little
that.
arms, right? The little
Ever
like
since-
yoga
Yeah.
ball type
Ever
thing.
since
Yeah.
you sent that to me, it's like on my feed every single day.
Oh,
That
yeah?
dude just doing gymnastics around that little
Yeah.
Oompa Loompa thing.
Yeah, I
or
kind
whatever
of
it is.
like it because number one, it just looks cool.
Yeah.
Number two, it keeps you off the floor, so I'm not going to have to bend my knee as much.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a little bit higher and be able to work on passing and whatever exercises I figure out without having to be on the ground, which is where I still need some time. So
You might need to,
hopefully,
you might
I
need to
put
give
it
up
on my
that
list.
lockdown. You might need to give up the lockdown.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Might not be able to stretch that.
You could buy one of
I-
those balloons that they make animals out of. You could just attach one of
it.
those to it, so it has a leg.
Circus balloons.
I'm not gonna lie. I've thought about it. I'm like, is this the end of the lockdown for me?
Probably
I hope
is.
not.
Is it the
No,
end?
I
is it
think
gonna?
is.
I've been working on an answer
No.
for that for months.
Yeah.
Don't get caught in it.
He walked in today. He walked in and he says, yo, my calf healed.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, because you haven't done the lockdown on me in 3 months. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that, it's a great move.
You saw
I
the
got to learn the
progression.
sweep. I've got to learn the sweep that the coach did on me to do what
That's
he did.
all
to me.
he's been teaching the last couple weeks.
What?
He's been throwing out his secrets. I've been honestly
the
surprised.
the defense or how to do it?
Both.
No,
I
Jesus.
asked him about the defense, and he gave me that look like, I'm not going to teach you.
Yeah, you got to keep something secret, right?
I was like, so how do you defend it? And he was like, we're talking about the sweep right now.
No can
Yeah,
defend.
yeah.
No can defend.
But yeah, he's been teaching it and just going one way to the other way. And then
I still have difficulty. I get the lockdown really good. I can get a leg over, do the electric chair, the banana split.
yeah.
I'm not really good at the sweep. I know that I got to be on my side a little bit more. I haven't really perfected that part of it. But I can get in the lockdown. I can pull guard and get somebody into
Been
it really
drilling
good. Yeah,
It's been nice. Yeah.
it's gonna be
We've
tough.
been taking too much time off.
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Is it full contact? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we supposed to be doing?
You
full
wearing a mask?
contact?
You wearing a mask?
No. It's always the same people. So, I mean, what's the difference?
What are the
Conspiracy.
technically?
Let's-
What are the
let's talk
rules in
about
Florida?
Conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So 14 days quarantine.
You
No, I'm saying. Right?
Okay.
Incubation. 14 days incubation. Right?
okay?
But we've been in quarantine for how many months?
3?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
So-
if you get exposed. That's
By who?
like it's
By
if you
who?
get exposed.
Who?
Hey, listen,
It's been 3 months.
You locked yourself in a room by yourself, and
That's
your
'cause-
wife locked you.
yeah,
and
the wife. She just
your
wanted to get rid
wife
of me.
locked you in the room, kept you
Yeah.
away from
Yeah.
from your grandson.
That sounds like a good
Right?
time.
But think about it. 3 months.
He would send
do you think?
pictures. He sent pictures of his shorts, his gi top, his feet up, watching like videos.
So I was gonna do a
Samba
homage.
uniform?
I was gonna do homage. I was gonna wear rash guard to film today. Homage to Danaher.
yeah.
I should have worn it.
There's pictures of that guy at steakhouses where a steak costs
will-
like $800 and he's like in a rash guard.
For those 2 weeks, I got more pictures of that big dude with the
gosh.
jug.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
What's
talking
his
about? That
name?
black
What's
dude
that-
with
what's
with the big.
Yeah.
What's his name, man?
Yeah, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I had to look it up, and I found out who
His
they talked about.
family started because people were stealing, like not stealing, but making money off of him, and then somebody like actually like appropriated
it-
like all the so they could like give it to his family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he died.
That's a
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I think.
Probably-
One of
probably
his
a
friends,
blood flow
Bert.
issue.
Was it Bert Kreitzer? How do you say his name? Kreitzer.
No, it was Tom Segura.
No,
Tom Segura.
yeah.
He looked into it, found the family, realized the whole story behind it. That guy did that like modeling for money for
Modeling,
his
is that what
family.
we're
He
calling
did
it?
like modeling, right?
I'm glad you get your
So,
news where I get my news.
So apparently he was, I guess family was down and out. He didn't do porn, but he did just like a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And I think maybe
Some
like
live
some
streams, couple live
masturbation.
I don't-
This
I
is
don't- yeah, come on.
This was not good. This
to
video is
Joe
getting
Tom.
demonetized.
Wrong rabbit hole, my
He
friend.
played.
Yeah.
He took pictures of him playing with himself. Apparently, right? So Tom Segura put him on shirts, but then donated the funds to
The family.
the family. So that was kind of cool. But I've never seen more pictures of that guy. Junior sent me him as the
unsolicited.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. He said,
Watching Michael Jordan dunk.
Yeah,
You remember that one?
Yeah. Did you see the
know.
murder hornet one?
"No, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, with the stinger."
Yeah.
He was inside of a little jewel,
Yeah.
a piece of glass, a broken
Yeah.
piece of glass.
I saw one. You sent me something with Hillary Clinton. Him, I
I
think
don't think.
Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton with him like with their arms around him or something.
It somehow morphed into like a Where's Waldo type
Yeah.
of situation.
Point being, he quarantined himself for 14 days.
Got it.
And that's pretty much what he
and
did.
you
Was
just
send
got
pictures.
unsolicited.
Yes,
But here's the
Yeah.
thing. That was at the beginning. That was March, all right? That was March.
Yeah, that's a couple
when that
months.
happened.
That's a-
But
that's a
now,
while.
if everybody's been quarantined for 2.5 months, it's just where's it coming from?
Yeah, but that's not the case. Like my wife hasn't been quarantined. I've been here. She was essential. She went to work. My stepdaughter, she's going to. She's a camp counselor. She stayed here for the end of school. She finished school here, But
she was she self quarantined for a few weeks, right?
Yeah, but that's the point is if she goes out and is exposed to somebody, look, my wife's gym, they just gave an announcement that one of their members went to class, was positive. It was tested positive for COVID, and now what do we do? Now she didn't go to the gym today.
You just go back.
Easier said than done. I have a coworker, grandmother passed from COVID, passed it to her son, his dad. So his grandmother passed. Now his dad's in the hospital, serious condition. I just found out yesterday. I was kind of surprised. I called him. I said, "Hey, how's your grandmother doing?" So she passed. I'm like, "Oh,
you don't want to take away from the bad of it. I think everybody understands the bad of it, but you just at some point you have to listen to the numbers, and the numbers don't support the action that's being implemented."
I disagree. What are we at? 122,000. What's the normal flu season loss of life? What's the normal deaths during the flu season? Do you know that?
I don't know.
Under 100,000. It's under. I think it's between 40 and 80, and we're at 122. I think as of today, 3 months. Yeah, let's call it from January. From January to now. You know.
Yeah, but it's new.
I feel like I'm not going to defend the conspiracy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm not going to defend the conspiracy.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our own opinions, I guess. You know.
Look, the night before I found out, so 2 days ago, we're showing the house, which looks like we're going to sell. So we'll have a bigger studio one, either in the new house or we're going to move it to a
sell the house, get the studio.
Yes. So the night we were showing the house, we stepped out, we went to dinner. And I'm like, that's it. I'm done with this. We got to go back to normal. This is fine. Next day on the news, the spike. I hear about my coworker. I'm like, maybe we should be staying home. So I think it's just an individual decision.
Yeah.
Remember, I got the heart condition. So I'm like a little bit like nervous. But at the same time, when I got sick, one day I'd be like, I just hope I have it and get through this when I got tested. And then half the time I'm like, man, I'm going to have to clean the house, top to bottom, to show the house. We're not going to be able to move, Or do they have it? Does my wife and my daughter have it?
How do they test you? You got a nose swab?
The nasal swab.
The deep one?
Man, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
It's like
I felt it in my butt.
That's the worst.
She went into here. My butt started tingling. I was like, Jesus, lady, how far are you going? As soon as she pulled it out, I had to turn and sneeze. It was just like that tickle in the back. Did you guys have you tested?
I had the nose one as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, I've done plenty of them. I've done them.
You've done them. Yeah. You've done them.
Yeah. But I didn't get swabbed.
Yeah. So we completely skipped our introductions. If people are watching for the first time, I'm Milton Campus. I'm a purple belt. I train at Fight Sports Coral Springs. My co-host here.
What's up? I'm Junior. Nice to see you guys. Talk to you guys.
What are you?
Black belt?
Green?
Black belt.
Couple
years. Felipe Sofia. Okay, Amarante.
Yeah. We all train at Fight Sports Coral Springs down here in South Florida.
Sure do.
Let's talk about. We got the logos up from our sponsors and people that are involved with the show on the screen. We've added your company,
awesome.
Zodacon Solutions, right?
Yeah, Zodacon.
I really feel like any time that I've asked you about what you do, you're always a little like
secret squirrel. No,
you always try to give me like a little I do this, but I do that. What do you do? What do you do under the Zodacon umbrella? And if you could talk about what you do outside of Zodacon.
Sure.
Do you mind?
No, I'll talk about it. So from basic to badass, basically, in a nutshell is what it is, right?
Okay.
Basics, when it comes to emergency medicine, we talk about CPR. That's the basics, right? To badass, teaching individuals how to treat trauma type scenarios.
Okay.
Either for law enforcement, military, or even a civilian that's interested in that.
Let me stop you. Let's take a step back, because again, sometimes we have people listening for the first time, so unless they listen to past episodes, just give them your resume, your military background. Why don't we start there real quick? We'll do the fast version if you like.
All right, yeah, sure. So Marine Corps veteran, 10 years. Got out, became a paramedic. Been doing paramedicine for about 10 years now, give or take. And decided to open up my own medical training company about 4 years ago. 4 years ago. That, along with security, has put me in a very precarious position where I can, find great jobs and contract to either United States or overseas and continue to teach medicine and have that skill that a lot of people really don't have.
So when you go up to Virginia, when you go up to D.C., are you going to work?
Yeah, I work as a contractor, so I'll go up there and teach.
And I'll see you on a military base. We'll get into the details. Okay, so you're being hired to come in and train who?
We train DA agents.
Okay.
Yeah, teach them. We teach them basics, right, from EMT basics. to advanced medicine, starting IVs, doing emergency crikes, tourniquets, bandages, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The old ABCs, huh?
Yeah.
So now you do everything from, so what you just spoken about, we've even talked about you doing like CPR training.
Yeah, CPR
even
basics.
like somebody can hire you locally to do CPR training.
Yeah.
You'll travel to do that beyond going to Virginia? I mean, like if somebody wanted to hire you to come out to California, what does that situation look like? How does somebody approach you or ask you, hey, Junior, I want you to come out?
That all depends. What are they looking to do? Who are they looking to train? It's got to be worthwhile, depending on the course.
Okay.
The course can run anywhere from 3 to 5 days. If there's role players involved, if there's moulage involved, it just depends what people are looking for.
And now the security training that you do, I know that you go travel within Florida to do security training. Is that like a security guard, or is that like...
No, so I work as a
armed security.
Yeah, so I'm also licensed in the state as a security officer, so I work in that realm as well.
Okay.
Executive protection, residential security.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much can you talk about that? That's
there's really not much to it, you know.
You're doing a job right now. You can't.
Yeah. No, I can't mention who I'm working for,
but you can mention. Can you talk about what you do?
So it's just residential security. So I have an individual who wants to have security at his home, and a high-profile individual, and we just make sure that whoever comes to the property is welcomed, and we maintain security for him and his family and guests that are on the property. And then along with that comes a bunch of other things that we take into consideration. Being in hurricane season now, hey, where do we go if something were to happen? Where do we move them? If he travels with his family, advance, where is he going? You know, are we sure that it's safe to wherever he's going? So
I feel like I'm listening to like a trailer for a movie.
Yeah, it's kind of it's okay. It's okay. It's fun. It's fun.
It's like one of those only jobs, I guess, where like you hope you don't have to do your job.
Yeah.
I hope I don't have to do my job today.
So you're doing that job right now. Have you ever had to use your jiu-jitsu as a security professional?
No, you know, I think that it gives me the confidence to know that I can handle myself. And unlike in the security world where, you know, you think of bodyguards as 6'5" individuals that are 350 pounds, hey, I'll tell you, I'm definitely not that. I'm 5'6", I weigh 175 on a good day, right?
Soaking wet with the rolls of quarters in your pocket?
With a John Danaher rash guard top on and some key pants. But the confidence that it brings and instills into security professionals as well as law enforcement, I think it gives them the advantage.
Yeah.
Right? And I think we've talked about that quite a bit, especially, you know, security. And I tell people all the time, security is 95% boring. The hardest thing that you got to do is try to stay awake, especially when you're working at night.
Stand around and hurry up and wait.
Yeah,
hurry up and wait,
it's a lot of boring time that's spent. 5% of your time is when, hey, the adrenaline kicks in and something does happen and you have to be ready for that. And I think jiu-jitsu builds that confidence in individuals outside of, you know, if you've been in the military, then that confidence gets instilled into you. But for regular individuals, jiu-jitsu, I think, and proficiency with firearms, you know. So
current environment, you know, everything that's going on, we don't have to go that far into it, but, you know, I saw this post, the Marietta, could be fake, who knows, but I just saw a post about the Marietta Police Department, Marietta, Georgia. Yeah. The police department is now requiring jiu-jitsu. And a lot of conversations, we've had it and we know it. I call it the quiet confidence. I used to get into a lot of stupid fights when I went out. I mean, I don't go to clubs anymore, but, you know, when I was younger, we used to go out and try to find a fight. We'd be like, let's get into a fight tonight. Like, you know, in my 20s, in my 30s, it would be like going to a club and, you know, just walk. Cause we knew everybody. My roommates worked for the club, and one of my roommates was engaged to a bartender. So we used to just get into some stupid shit. But, you know, I didn't really know how to fight. I mean, I could fight, but I didn't know how to fight. I was never trained. Didn't have jiu-jitsu, a little bit of wrestling. Always hit the punching bag on my own, but never trained professionally or with a professional teaching me. So in this current environment, I see posts like, I don't think that people really, really understand. Yes, we're a jiu-jitsu podcast. We train jiu-jitsu. But I don't think people really understand the confidence that it gives you to walk. I could walk into some of those same rooms where I thought I had to puff out my chest and act like a badass, where I'd walk into those rooms and I just want to be like the wallpaper. I don't even want anybody to know who I am. But there's the quiet confidence is, we've all looked around the room and went, yeah, I can kick everybody's ass in this room. I could choke out most of these guys. Like the loud guy in the corner, you'd be like, that guy doesn't even know. You know, that loud guy, I was loud because I was insecure. I was loud because I wanted to be tough. And as soon as I learned how to train, I mean, the humility that comes along with walking into a jiu-jitsu gym or any gym, you know, kickboxing, Muay Thai, you get humbled real quick, and you do not go out into a bar, a club the same way ever again. Am I wrong?
Yeah. You're not wrong. I also, just to add to it and to add to what you do, I also think if you're like a really experienced person who's in situations where they have to be a security guard or have to secure a site or have to secure a client, you learn how to recognize situations and neutralize them before they get to a point where you have to do your job.
Yeah.
And I think that also with jiu-jitsu, at least how I feel, it's like I could recognize body language. You could recognize, like you said, you could see that loud guy in the corner.
Yeah.
And you could just recognize, instead of saying something, you just know, just let that guy yap. I mean, he's not hurting anybody. He's just
the louder they talk, the less they know, the less they can really take care of themselves. So you learn to ignore that guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, anything to get away from a fight, but when a fight happens, don't give an inch. You know, that type of mindset.
So current environment, again, I you know, watching or seeing that Marietta, Georgia post, I think we're finally headed in the right direction. If that becomes, is it just jiu-jitsu? Does it need to be jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and different kind of? The jiu-jitsu has a very special place in law enforcement because it's about de-escalation. We talked about it when we had Freddie Trillo on the episode. Jiu-jitsu is not the art that is about kicking somebody's ass. We might try to kick each other's ass to the gym. It's two people that know jiu-jitsu. But if a cop that knows jiu-jitsu is subduing somebody who doesn't, and it's about control. And this whole choke situation, let's talk about it for a second. As far as we jokingly have talked about the knee on neck. We were joking about that before all this happened, that's a move that you used to do on me. You know how to do that move and control it, where I would tap and or, you know, try to know how to get out of it. You know, that's two jiu-jitsu players that are doing that. But I know that I could subdue somebody, and without getting, you know, I almost feel bad getting too far into this, but I could kneel on somebody's neck to hold them down and not hurt them. Well, that's 5-6 years in. June will be 6 years, or June this month is 6 years that I've been doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I'm confident in saying, I don't want to use the word expert, but I could do that move, hold somebody down. Two other officers could put handcuffs on him without me even hurting him, because I would understand the pressure that's needed, and that's what the cops are missing.
Yep.
So let me explain to you something. I think Miguel can attest to this, and I think I was in the service a little bit before Miguel was, right? So in the early 2000s, well, let me just take a step back. Before 2000, the Marine Corps had what was called the line system. Basically, it was to disable people.
Say that again, the line?
It's called line, L-I-N.
Okay.
I can't, linear inline defense, something or other, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the purpose of it was to take someone, get them down on the ground, and stomp their face in. There was no alternative. But
that's a military situation.
That was the defense system that was used prior to the 2000s.
Okay.
After 2000, they started incorporating different martial arts because there was a humanitarian need to use something where you can keep people away or disarm them without hurting them, without killing them, right? So that's where Marine Corps martial arts came in. That's where Gracie Combatives. McMap. That's where Gracie Combatives comes in, because it's curtailed specifically to disarm and neutralize an individual, right? So is it jiu-jitsu based? Sure it is. But it has to be specific for what you're using it. It's like, you know, you take jiu-jitsu, you're not going to throw yourself on the ground and do a de la Hiva on somebody, right? It just doesn't make sense. So you have to be able to stand up, judo throw them, get them down to the ground somehow, and then know the proper techniques to use on them, whether it's going to be a Kimura or whether it's going to be a chokehold or whatever the case might be. And the Gracies just did something. I was listening to an article where they talked about chokes, both air chokes and blood chokes, two different things, right? And how long have chokes been around? And how often do we train with chokes? And nobody gets hurt, nobody dies, right? Because if you know how to properly apply the technique, then it's good, right? But people are so, knee jerk reaction. Okay, we got to pull it.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily. I can't. From a jiu-jitsu practitioner perspective, they should not be pulling chokes. You should learn how to do the choke correctly, and know what to do if you do make somebody pass out from a choke. Let go. Mm-hmm. How do you kind of help resuscitate, lifting their legs, different thing. What should you be doing post, them passing out? I think that there's, and listen, I go back and I say, by no means am I advocating the use of the knee on neck. I'm just saying we do it as jiu-jitsu practitioners. And it's a little bit of a joke because we consider it a dickhead move.
Yeah, it's not. You do it to people that you know. Like, if a guy just comes, if you don't know them, I don't think you do that.
It's a good neon belly or neon chest too.
Junior don't care, huh?
Junior went up to Virginia and taught it to a bunch of white belts at the. I think what is
High Road.
It was High Road BJJ. Yeah, one of the I think the guys on the board. I think it's a great move, man. Dave, and I see a post that he's teaching. The post that the guy put out was like, "Thank you, Junior, for teaching us the neon neck." It was totally like, thanks for teaching that to my guys, Junior. That's the way I had it. Why did you teach that to us?
Here's the thing, too, that you have to understand. Not only did they have a knee on his neck, but there was also a knee on his back.
Yeah.
So it's preventing his lungs from expanding, his rib cage from expanding, and his lungs from
And that's where nobody's talked about
duration. You tap, that dude was verbally tapping.
Yeah, basically.
And
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and he couldn't control the situation.
I told that to my wife.
That's
I said,
a restraint.
He didn't just, again, we weren't there, but when you look at it, we know that the knee on his back hurt just as much because he couldn't getting a blood, and it's really, this is right. You would consider this a blood choke right here, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's also not being allowed to breathe. His diaphragm is not being allowed to expand. So it's like if we were doing jiu-jitsu together and I'm doing one or the other, there's probably not a move where I can do both, where I'm holding your diafragm down and I'm cutting off your neck. I mean, I could maybe be like in a body triangle.
You could be doing the Abu Ghraib. You could be north south with the wet t-shirt on top, right? If you got weight on somebody and then you're smothering them.
I'm coming for you, Junior.
I heard you.
I'm going to wear my t-shirt just to.
I heard you probably say I got a move named after me.
He did boast about it.
Oh my gosh!
I at first I didn't like it, and now I'm kind of like just the association with what Abu Ghraib was. But kind of.
So look, Miguel has kids, right? And his kids are in jiu-jitsu, and I think he has his kids in jiu-jitsu kind of the way a lot of people put their kids in martial arts at a young age for a specific reason. Right? What's that reason?
Well, first of all, it's insurance for myself, peace of mind, and it's just good for them to be ready. It teaches them discipline. It teaches them to be humbled. It's because not only does it not only will it help them defend themselves against bullies, but I believe it prevents them from becoming bullies too. So I don't foresee my son or my daughter,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
growing up to be the type of people that would bully somebody because they know what it feels like to get jacked up.
And I asked that because that's the introduction I think kids need or adults need, right, at a young age to get them ready to be law enforcement officers. Where the exposure to people, they have to have people skills. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have a lot of guys out there that are very young. They go into the police force right out of high school, right? Maybe a year or two out of college. And what life experience do they have? Not talking bad about law enforcement, but at the same time, for us to say, hey, they're going to incorporate jiu-jitsu. When is the training schedule? Yeah. What's this training schedule like? How many hours?
So two things I want to say. Number one, I think that beyond the skill of jiu-jitsu, what everyone talks about is, again, the humility. Now, if you go into a situation where you're rolling with people, maybe you're a cop, and you go into a situation where, let's just say, this police department, we'll use Marietta as the example. You have all of these cops who the only thing that binds them together is that they are police officers, but otherwise maybe wouldn't be doing barbecues together on a Sunday afternoon, though they would have never known each other. And you're rolling with these people. I mean, you're going to have people of different colors, ethnic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and so on. The humility and the brotherhood that you wind up getting, I would say, I was never in the military, similar to what you get in the military, where you're meeting people and getting very intimate with jiu-jitsu with people that you would have never even talked to, met, ever touched, or put your hands on. And now you guys are in the situation where I have to trust that you're not going to bend my arm back.
For sure.
That you're going to let go when I tap and not give me that extra second or two. Number one, the humility and the ability. The humility, you're not going to be the tough guy. Just like I said, once I started training, I stopped being like the tough guy troublemaker.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't that carry over for anybody? Wouldn't you want a cop that really, really knows what it's like to be choked and to have that knee on neck? That's where the humility comes in. He's going to go, I know what I'm about to do to this guy, and that shit hurts.
Right.
Let me stop this here. Now, I definitely think that there's more to this story. Did these guys know each other? Did he know the victim?
Well, I have a good friend, Ruben Alvarez, right? And we not only have trained jiu-jitsu together, but we've gone out, we do shooting courses together. And he recently put up a post on how he trained somebody or he introduced somebody to jiu-jitsu who in turn introduced more people to jiu-jitsu, right? So that's the goal. Hey, we need to be able to spread that. And just like you're saying, the racism doesn't appear on the jiu-jitsu mats, right? I might not like you just because I don't like you.
I mean, I don't like you.
It's not a racist thing.
I only put up with you.
But it's not a racist thing, right? Because what do we see? Just like you mentioned, right? White, black, yellow, red, guys, girls, sexual orientations.
If you walk in with any of those biases, I think they go away pretty quickly.
Yeah, they get stomped out of you pretty quick.
It's like,
Same thing in the military. Yeah. I mean, you're in a plane right next to each other.
It's funny, we don't refer, I'm not sure if they do this in the Army, but you're not referred to as white or black. You're either light green or dark green.
Yeah. You're an NCO?
Yeah, you're not.
Or you're an officer.
Explain to me what that means.
So, yeah, you're not a color. You're not a black or white color. You're either light or dark.
You're not a skin color.
You're light green or dark green, like the uniform colors, right? Okay. That's what you are.
There is ranksism, though. It's like, he can't spell loss without LT. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what any of
No,
that
it's
means.
like when a brand new officer comes in.
Yeah.
Do you guys have butter bars?
We do.
Right, so it's like a brand new lieutenant. So like they're usually fresh out of college, did 4 years of ROTC in college or whatever, and they come
no
in.
military experience.
Yeah,
and he's
but
in charge. Right?
They're also pretty educated, and they get thrown to the wolves. Essentially, is what it is. And they're in charge of a ton of people, but they're like a brand new lieutenant. They don't know what it's like to be in the army. So you have an NCO, which is non-commissioned officer, that's been in the military for a while, and they've already ran a bunch of guys, or they have a bunch of experience. But then they almost come in over you, right? Because they're an officer, and they have a different set of skills and different responsibilities. Yeah. Great word, thank you. And but they're essentially, it's like
they're newbies.
There's newbies.
You got to train them.
You do,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
So you're training your own boss.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. There's no racism. There's more of like, oh, this guy's super fresh or super green, or essentially they're the white belt coming in.
Yeah. But at the same time, when you think about those officers, those are the guys, those officers, those second lieutenants are the ones that are going to lead you in the future.
Yep.
So it's got to be the guys that are already there, the experienced guys who have to teach them. This is the way you do things, right? It's kind of like us on the mat. Hey, this is how you do things. This is the etiquette. And we've talked quite a bit about this. Hey, what's the etiquette when you come to the mat? Hey, make sure you cut your nails. Make sure you're not going to the bathroom without your shoes on.
Wash your belt.
Make sure you bow before you come on the mat.
Wash your belt.
Wash your belt if you're scared about catching corona,
I got to keep it white.
So yeah, I think
so again, my point was, if you have biases, jiu-jitsu is a really good way of beating those out of you pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. You become friends, and again, like the military, you guys know, like the military, you become brothers pretty quickly. You are in the same boat. You are two white belts, let's just say a white guy and a black guy, starting the same day, who would have never known each other, are both about to get their asses kicked by the black belt, by the seasoned white belt with wrestling background, by the purple belt.
Hey, man.
You're like a senior Lance Corporal.
Yeah.
You're the senior E3.
We're coming up. I know we don't really do a lot of stripes at the gym anymore, but where are you?
I recently received 2 stripes.
Did you?
Man.
Yeah.
During the COVID, before or after?
No, it was like after everything officially opened.
Okay. So you got some stripes?
Yeah, I showed up. It was like a Monday or something. Yeah. They had like a little. I don't know if you know there's a female that comes there, Bobby. She got stripes.
Yeah. But I know
so hence the 9-day stint, huh?
I don't know that. I don't think that.
Shit, I gotta go back tomorrow.
I'm going ham just because the family's up north and I'm literally bored.
So where are you at stripe wise?
2 stripes.
So those are your first 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. How long have you been training now? How long? Let's say before COVID. It's about a year.
It's coming up on a year. I don't think it's even been a year yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So coming up with a year with the 2 months, let's call it, that you didn't train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was training.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It felt good. I felt like a little kid.
Stripes are good, man.
Like when he called me up and he put the stripes on my belt, like I blushed. I don't know. It's weird. It's like
I didn't see any pictures or nothing. Nobody said anything.
It's the recognition, man. That's all. We all want that.
Just got to keep showing up.
It's the star on your spelling test when you're in first grade.
I didn't think I would care that much about white electrical tape. But.
It's a great feeling, man. It shows progression.
You earned it.
Yeah, I
know I earned it. Like I don't feel like I didn't earn those 2 white stripes because I've been getting smushed for about a year.
Yeah, talking about earn it. Remember, we talked about it a lot in the first few episodes where, when I started, I came in as a blue belt. And my first class was like first couple of classes maybe was right before they broke for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And when I came back, I guess they all went down to Miami where all the fight sports was always going down to Miami to do the belt promotions. So all the fight sport schools in really South Florida went to Miami, and then it was like these huge promotions and you call up your guys. And so when I came back, they all went to that. I was new, so I didn't even get invited to go watch. It wasn't even in the loop yet. And I come back and all the white belt, everybody had a blue belt. There's no white belts left. And I was just like, what the? Okay. All right. I didn't know what was going on. But that just getting the first stripe there is, getting my first stripe from Felipe was nice. It was, I think the same thing. I got 2. Yeah. Because I got my second stripe on my blue belt from my old school before he closed. It was like, okay, here's your stripe. We're closing. Can you come back tomorrow and help us roll up the mats?
Yeah.
And then it was within 6 months I got my 2 stripes. And so again, not only was it a sense of accomplishment, but it was like I became part of that family for real.
Right.
It was just like this. I was the outsider, and then
Yeah, something that's really new and really weird for me to get used to is that. Felipe, when you're rolling in at the end of the training session, he gives out tips to people no, move your head. Move your, and he was talking to me when I was rolling with some kid, and I couldn't recognize that he was talking. I'm not used to him talking to me when I'm rolling.
Oh, he was coaching you.
Yeah, I wasn't used to it at all. And then,
but what changed? He just never did that before with you?
Not really, no.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, the key to that is right. No, well, the key. Here's what you have to pick up on that is that you have to be coachable. Right. You have to be coachable. So if he tells you to do something, you have to have the trust and confidence that he's giving you good advice, and you have to react to that.
Yep.
If not, then whatever, you get swept or you get choked or whatever the case might be. But if you make that minor adjustment, and that's where the growth happens, right? Where you can pay attention to more than just you and that individual that you're with on the mat.
Right.
When you can pick something up that's on the other side.
Obviously, he sees it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I listened to him now, but I did that whole time. He was telling me to do something with his legs. I remember I was almost in a modified butterfly guard. Guy was on the bottom. And he kept telling me, he's like push the heel in and then grab it with your other foot. Pass. And I was like,
he was in butterfly and you were on your knees?
I was on top. No, I was doing almost a folding pass, like how Buchecha does.
Yeah,
he folds the knees over and then he posts a hand down, and then he either, if they let you pass in front, you go up front cross face, or you either come around behind. And he was talking to me and I just didn't recognize it. And at the end of the roll, he was looking at me. I was like, oh, you were talking to me, weren't you? I was like, I thought he was coaching the other guy who's a brand new guy who's never been there.
Say it with the Brazilian accent.
Yeah.
Oh, you're stupid. Hey, I was talking to you.
He's like, come on, I was talking to you. Hey guys, let me kind of just do a quick shout out. We talked a lot about the military. I think it's probably a good time to say thank you for We Defy for all their support and all they do for veterans in the jiu-jitsu community. For those of you who don't know who they are, they provide therapeutic relief to disabled combat veterans through jiu-jitsu. You can check them out at We Defy Foundation on Instagram, and you can also donate anytime at wedefyfoundation.org. Junior and I, we talked about it before. We did the Zoom meeting with them. We did a roundtable with the people. We did a roundtable with the founders of the organization. So we recorded it, but we didn't put it out to the public. It's going to be something that's going to be a benefit for people who not only donate money at the minimum donation right before we announce one is going to be $5. We also gave out the benefit to our podcast patrons of the show. So if they're supporting our show, we're supporting We Defy. They get invited to those Zooms as well. We're going to be doing another one. I talked to TJ Kreitzer, who handles all of the ambassadors. Awesome. And we're going to be doing another one before the end of July.
Okay.
So I know who the guest is. I'm not going to announce it because I want to let them. Yeah, I want to let them announce it and do it properly and make sure that we have the 100% buy-in from the guest. But we'll do another one before the end of July. He is a jiu-jitsu black belt. He's a very well-known name, more of a senior black belt, somebody who's been around for a lot longer than any of us have been doing jiu-jitsu. Again, you'll be able to submit questions and actually be on the Zoom. I'm hoping that we maybe do a little bit more about like recording it and maybe do some more promotion of it.
Yeah.
We do, like, you're able to record the Zoom while you're doing it. So we have that, but I'm thinking about maybe we could record it like we're doing a podcast, figure out how to do a little bit bigger and better, even if it just goes out to the ambassadors, people that are involved, their competitors, the competitors that they sponsor. We actually put it on YouTube, but it's a private link for only those people.
I think it was a good, informative piece.
I had a good time, man. Yeah. And it was the first time. I mean, I learned so much about We Defy itself, things that I didn't know. And again, we had the founders, who's one of the founders is a multiple amputee. So it was amazing. He even went back. He tells the story about he's like, I feel like if I had a few inches off of an already amputated leg, he went and got like a few more inches off the leg so that his jiu-jitsu would improve.
Wow.
I mean, exactly, right? I mean, that's
serious right there.
Dedication. I mean, just talk about it. But let's not just the dedication, but what jiu-jitsu did for him. He was willing to, take something off of his leg. So it was amazing. But I had a really good time. I mean,
I loved it. I think if folks out there are interested in We Defy or veteran type organization that they want to help out, hey, look into We Defy and maybe we can do something for Veterans Day. Yeah, Veterans Day is around the corner.
Yeah,
and
if somebody wants to do a seminar, I know that we wouldn't mind going out doing a seminar as a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. I mean, you're the black belt, so I'll be the dummy. You could do your knee on neck, so you're
Cyborg. All credit to Cyborg on that.
To show some of that top pressure. But I think that would be really awesome. So just reach out to the show. You can get us at at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies pretty much everywhere, or just send me an email.
Tactical.
Yeah.
What else we got?
All right. So wait. So if you do want to set something up or you have a question for the show, you can either comment on our social media or send an email to info@jujitsudummies.com. So now, okay, what were you saying?
No, so
you always like to get ahead of me.
They can reach us on Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Podcast on Instagram.
So, okay, so let's talk about a little bit. You guys you're seeing all the stuff here. So we got Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. That's the podcast.
That's the other one.
We got Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Tactical, where we're going to be getting into kind of a really bad time to be launching this, because we were going to be talking about kind of gun retention and maybe police tactics, military tactics, and then a lot of things happen. So
talk about it.
I do. I think we have to rethink about what we're going to talk about, because me being getting put in one of those suits and getting attacked by a dog, maybe not the right time to be doing something like that. I don't feel comfortable talking about it from that angle. Mm-hmm. But I think what we talked about today, talking a little bit more about how to use jiu-jitsu properly in these situations, whether it's military or it's police.
Or you could talk about de-escalation. Recognition of a bad situation and making sure you neutralize it before it doesn't need to get that far.
I really do. A big part of it I want to talk about. I'm a new concealed carry guy. Mm-hmm. I have two pistols. Haven't even shot one of them yet, and I've had it for almost 6 months. So I've been waiting to, once we came up with the idea for Jiu-Jitsu Tactical, Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Tactical. You called it Jiu-Jitsu Tactical in the video you sent me.
Did I?
The Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. We're going to call it JJD Tactical. So we take out the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. I know the logo says it one way, but we're going to call it JJD Tactical. But you went out with Jessica Aguilar.
We did.
UFC veteran. You guys, things like that. We want to go show Junior. I want to be the dummy in the equation, but him showing and teaching people what he knows, and whether it's again gun retention in a scuffle,
it's not going to be like a jack off.
Whoa, hey,
a jackass spin-off. It's not going to be like that, right? It's no fireworks in the butt, nothing crazy. Right? It's going to be more of, hey, these are other things that make sense.
There's a lot of new gun owners out too
Sure.
right now.
Yeah.
And how about they have families? So how to properly store your weapon.
Yeah.
Because you have children in the house. And not only how to properly store your weapon, because if your bullets are over there and your gun is over there and somebody's breaking into your house, it's going to be a tough fight.
Yeah.
You could throw your gun at him, I guess. But, you know, there's a lot of things you could talk about how to be smart.
We're gonna kind of regroup and figure out what exactly we want that message to be.
Yeah.
But we know it's going to be how to use jiu-jitsu in certain situations, and you know, the original concept as it relates to maybe also being concealed carry.
Yeah.
You know, or carrying a concealed weapon.
Situational awareness, or anything that has to do with protection.
Especially in Florida. I mean, for those of you, you know, this is a concealed carry state. I mean, you can pretty much, anybody can get a gun down here. Unfortunately, I don't think that everybody should be. I think it should be a little bit more difficult. I never touched an actual gun before I was able to purchase my 2 weapons.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. I actually did a class where I was shooting a plastic gun with a little light. Little laser at a wall. And like pointed here, and that. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. I know that the NRA has like certain classes. Mine was like a non-NRA class, but I think it's ridiculous. But when you're in Florida, you know, it's kind of like, do I want to be the guy without the weapon in this situation? You know, it's kind of almost forced into it. Son of a police officer. I'm the son of a cop. Never touched a weapon. My father never taught me how to shoot. Always had weapons in the house. Have a situation where my father used to come home and put his gun on top of these encyclopedias on a bookshelf. And one time I went to grab an encyclopedia, the gun hit me on the head, and I knew not even to touch it. I mean, I was a teenager too. Don't even touch it. And I was like, Dad, your gun. And he came and he got it. That's just the way I was taught. Don't even look at it. Don't even touch it. Yeah. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing in this day and age? Like, should he have taught me how to use it? Very different time.
He taught you how to respect it,
30, 40 years ago. Yeah, just knew that don't touch it, you know. So with that being said, though, you know, touched my first gun with my first jiu-jitsu coach. You know, he took me shooting. He brought all his toys out and shot his AR and shot his shotgun. Yeah. But, you know, being in Florida, craziness with hurricanes, I know what gun purchases went up because of COVID.
Control.
He's got something funny to say. I know that face. What are you gonna say? Go ahead. Make your joke.
Nothing.
Make your joke.
I hope it's the same thing that I'm thinking. I don't think it's ridiculous that it's that easy to get a gun. I think it's great that you decided that you wanted to protect your family, and you have the freedom to go get one. Now you should also have. Now that you have that responsibility, you should also study how to properly use it, right? I think the ridiculousness, I agree with you on the ridiculousness, but I think it should be shifted towards when you do purchase a weapon, maybe there should be some more continuing education, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's great that you decided that you needed to protect your family, and hopefully you never have to use it, which is great.
Yeah. So that's a lot of what Jiu-Jitsu or Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Tactical, JJD Tactical is going to be about. You know, you talk about continuing ed. That was another point I wanted to make before. Again, as a son of a police officer, my father was on the New York City Transit Police Department before the departments merged, and then it was just NYPD. So that goes back a long time. I can't remember then, and I have friends that are police officers now, and I've never heard them talk about it. There is no continuing education that I know about, not a strong continuing education program, or more importantly, a continuing physical education program. You know, down here in Florida, you have to pass certain, you know, physical examinations and, you know, jump over a wall and run a mile under a certain amount of time. But after that, I don't know, maybe individual, I could be wrong. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But for the most part, there is no continuing physical education where somebody has to stay in shape or be, you know, tested, and they can really just let themselves go and, you know, not be able to have to go to the gun before using their physical attributes to de-escalate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, which bothers me. I don't understand. You know, Jocko was on, you know, you watch Rogan, right? Yeah. Jocko was on the other day talking about 20% of his time, or at least he was recommending 20% of a police officer's time should be in training.
Yeah.
And not just physical training, de-escalation, you know, situational awareness training, you know, this woman's yelling over here, and, you know, there's your partner, another officer's fighting with this guy over here. How do you handle those situations? if you're not doing that all the time, just like right now, I feel like I've been out of jiu-jitsu for such a long time. I'm like, what is it going to be like that first time back? It's going to be really strange and weird because my mental game isn't there. haven't been in that.
And also Jujitsu Cardio is different. I'll tell you what, I while the gym was closed down, I was still training at home. Like I was doing a ton of cardio and I laid my punching bag on the floor, do passes and stuff like that. And I noticed it when we all came back. I mean, a bunch of people came back and their cardio was not there. And they outranked me and they manhandled me all the time. And it was just like the Jujitsu cardio. It's a different type of cardio. I've been running my whole life. It's not the same type of cardio.
But for a police officer, he needs to be training just as much as he's out in the field.
I'm saying imagine that. Imagine like going through all that police officer training and then you're out, you're on the beat, and then you know exactly what to do because you're fresh off of training, and then that just like starts diminishing over time.
We've all seen that really heavy beer belly cop, get out of get out of the car. Like, what the fuck is that guy gonna do if that guy starts running?
Let it ride.
What is he gonna do if he does get into a scuffle?
So that's part of the things that you see now happening in training, right? So part of the training that I do, it's not only teaching you how to put on a tourniquet, but exercise induced stress, right? So how can I stress you out so that you can put it on under conditions where the adrenaline's pumping through your system and now you're fidgety, right? Same thing for law enforcement, same thing for shooters. It's fine and dandy to go to the range where it's air conditioned and it's lit and you're shooting at a paper target. But hey, how about we turn the lights down? How about we turn the air off? How about you do 50 burpees and then try to hit this 1-inch circle?
Okay.
So those are the things.
You guys do that? You do that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we go to the range is the same way. You have some exercise-induced stress, get your heart rate up, run up and down, swing some kettlebells, and try to hit the target.
So let's go back. You went to shoot with Jessica Aguilar?
Yeah, we did.
We talked about it before?
We're working on a couple things. She's looking at venturing outside of MMA, and part of that is getting her weapon certification. So
okay,
that
was cool. I appreciate the video that you sent over. That
it was really a quick one, just like a little intro. See what we can do with Jiu-Jitsu Dummies.
So you'll be working with her some more.
Yeah, for sure.
So let her know. Like, we had her on episode whatever.
It was a while ago,
in the single digits, I think. Tell her, once you guys get going a little bit, let's do
for sure,
a tactical set, a JJD tactical video or something. Let's kind of catch up and maybe we can see her progress and, we can,
for sure.
It'll help us. It'll help her, give her some exposure and gives us some content for the show, for those segments. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool.
She's got everything going for her. Women learn faster than men. And she's a winner.
I mean, she's got
she puts her mind
MMA
to it.
background, it's just like she's this is the perfect progression for everything she's done in her life. We talked about. I remember we mentioned it on the show.
She wants to do movies. She wants to do stunt work. She wants to do acting. So,
I mean, so this.
It's perfect.
This
right
goes really far for her.
Yeah.
This takes on so many, or kind of attacks a lot of different things that she could potentially be doing. You
don't want to be the guy on the movie holding the gun like this.
That's not, you're not supposed to do it like that? No? Like that? I thought it was like this. You do it sideways. You do it sideways, right? Or the last gangster. You do the last. You turn it to the side.
Especially if you have to. That's my favorite. And I watch Training Day at least once a year, and I love it when Denzel like bangs the guns together.
Clacks. Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome.
So let's talk about that logo that you see there, JJD Podcast Consulting, that's us. That is essentially the parent company or the production company for
everything.
Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, JJD Tactical for the podcast and for the tactical segments. And then we've been working with JitzKing. We sponsored their last event, got very friendly with those guys. And we are going to be doing, I don't think it's the next image, but we're actually going to be producing, JJD Podcast Consulting is going to be producing the JitzKing podcast. So we shoot,
there
it is. We're going to be shooting our first podcast, I believe, as long as everybody's available, on July 11th. So we'll get to talk about the last event. Hopefully Pedro Mourinho, who won the middleweight, their last tournament, the 185 tournament that they just did in Gracie Largo. We're going to have him on he'll be the first guest since he's, their newly crowned 185 king. So we'll have Eduardo, Enrique, and Patrick, who does the announcing. They're going to come down. They're going to shoot in the studio here, and we're gonna help them, kind of get their podcast off the ground. So we've learned a lot of lessons here, doing what we've done. We've made a few mistakes, and we've also done a lot of things right. That I think a lot of people who do podcasts who think they're just going to build it and they will come. It's not the case unless you have a really big name, unless you have somebody, a superstar. Even those, I mean, I see the numbers, I see the views on YouTube, and if you're not doing this properly and getting it out in the right places, it's very difficult to get a podcast off the ground. We are just past our first year. This is episode 22. Most podcasts, they say, don't get past episode 12. So, we did something a little different. We, instead of putting out content every single week or a couple of times a week, we said, let's put out one every 2 weeks and, again, kind of do it right. Add some graphics, do some things differently than other people do. Thank God for Bo behind the camera. He's a graphic and a production genius. So hats off to him. But yeah, we're going to be doing this. There it is again, podcast, the JitzKing Podcast, and we're going to do some really cool things. We've got some new equipment, so we're going to be shooting differently going forward.
Nice.
So we'll be able to show their videos and the actual the events on screen. It'll be totally different. So we've already actually got the new equipment. Bo's playing around with it, figuring out what we need to do. But we'll have a 3-camera setup, and
Wow.
we talked about it. Yeah, it's
awesome,
going to be different. We're going to take this for both podcasts. For both, we'll be shooting differently, and we'll be able to have guests on. They'll be on screen instead of on camera or on the TV screen. So it's real cool. A lot of new things coming. So thank you to those guys for putting their faith in us, and I'm excited to freaking do it. I mean, it's a whole new evolution of what we've been doing here. So
Hey, so does Miguel get a speed round or what?
Miguel's going to get a speed round in a little bit. Again, you always get
antsy,
you got to go.
Getting antsy.
When do you got to go? Do you really got to go?
Yeah, man.
Do you really got to go? We're at an hour and 5.
Yeah.
Do you really got to go? I got like so much. I don't know. Do we let you go and I just hang out with Miguel, or can you do like another half hour?
Getting thrown to the wolves
Do
over
another
there.
half hour.
That's too nice to tight.
Do another half hour.
My timeline's too tight
Yeah?
for an hour.
Oh Jesus! Or is your butt too tight? Come on, man, listen up.
Actually, nah.
Come on,
Actually.
My hemorrhoids have been flaring up.
No, we don't want to go there. So okay, so let's. All right, so we won't talk about some of the other things that I was going to talk about. You really got to go? Or you playing with me?
No, I'll squeeze out, man. I'll scoot out here in a minute. I just want to stay off of a speed round.
Okay. So so let's jump forward to the speed round. Let's do that. Let's do the listener questions. Let's be here for the listener questions. So we had.
And he's holding you hostage.
So we got. How pissed are you going to be if I just keep the camera on?
I gotta drive an hour, man. I gotta drive an hour to work.
So you just drive a little faster. So okay, so Spooky Vamp from Instagram. His question is: what's the best advice you have if you want to start switching up your game and adding new elements or entries? You want to take that?
Yeah, as a seasoned white belt, I'd love to take that question.
Let's go, man.
Senior
Come on.
white belt. Senior white belt.
2 stripes, baby.
Yeah.
If you want to change up your game, I mean, you just got to go out there and get your hands dirty. That's what I do. I find, it's just my experience, I find that when you roll with the same people, they each have a different story. Mm-hmm. So you roll with them differently. And normally what I do is I try and implement something that I want to do, and then I see how they answer that. And then it usually ends in me losing. But I
learn something.
Yeah, I learned something exactly. And then I go home and then I try and look up what they did to me. And then next time I roll with them, I know what they're gonna do. Mm-hmm. And I have the answer to that. And then they already have something in the bucket to reach down and grab. And then I lose again. And then so now it's I could honestly roll really conservatively and not get tapped.
Okay.
For 6 minutes with just about.
You survive. That's good.
Yeah, I'm surviving like really consistently at this point.
The advice that you just gave is, I think, similar to advice I've given before, which is you can either leave the gym. I would go on YouTube and say, I'm good at this. How do I make that better?
Right.
Or, wow, he keeps on getting me with this. Let me look up this move and learn how to defend.
Yeah.
You know, it's leaving the mat and going, what do I need to work on?
Right.
It's picking one thing at a time. That's just the way my mind works.
Right.
Is once I focus on something, I say, all right, I've got to figure that out. And until I figure that out, I don't like to fill my head with a lot of other junk or to try to, I can't figure out 10 moves or 10 moves that I need to defend or 10 moves that I want to do.
Right.
It's the north-south. I did that. I just did it constantly. People would be like, that's all you got? Is that all you got? Well, that's all I got until you learn how to get out of it. And I'm going to perfect this. And then I went from the north-south to I can hold the north-south. I don't know the name of the move, but then I can come on the side of you, throw my leg over your legs, and then I've got the arm here. So I go for the north-south. I don't even know the name of the move, but it was the natural progression of the north-south. If somebody gets their arms in, starts to give me one of these, like Junior learned to do.
Yeah.
All right. But your arm is on the side of me. I come around the side, lay next to you.
Right.
And I've got your arm here. I've got your elbow. I throw my leg over, and then I pull that arm up. That was the natural progression, and that was the answer to, I'm always in this position, but my first tournament, I was laying on the guy's face. I gave him an Abu Ghraib. I didn't even know I was doing it.
Right.
I just laid my belly on his face, and then I learned that, wait a minute, slide down. There's a north-south here. Looked up Marcelo Garcia videos or found them, and then I learned, and I said, oh, look at this. And then he teaches you how to go from here to here, and then, the progression. So for me, it's always about, again, finding something that I want to get better at.
Right.
Love YouTube, find the video, and then come back to the gym and then work on that. And then the same thing happened with the lockdown. Coach has those lockdowns.
Boy,
it's like, how the hell do I get out of this?
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so what have you done with it? Like,
with the lockdown,
doing it or defending it?
It's my new favorite thing to do because I'm a top guy. I like imposing my will. I'm a bigger guy, so that way it's a little bit easier to impose my will. Plus, I got pretty decent cardio. So getting past people's guards has been pretty tough, but I figure it's a battle of attrition. Like I just keep hammering. They eventually, hopefully, get more tired than I am, and then I could get past. I normally don't even go for submissions at this point. I just try and get to a position and try and hold it as long as I can, and then just not visualize, but almost see what's available.
Okay.
It's just when I go for submissions, they slip, but I understand I have to learn what feels right before I could finish it. So like I'll hold it and I was like, okay, I'm successful at holding this. Let's move on to the next step. So I'll go, I go for a lot of head and arms. And then I just kind of ride knee on belly left and right. And that's essentially what I've been working on.
Junior, your advice. What's your best advice if you want to start switching up your game, adding new elements and entries?
There's so much. I think that's a loaded question. What belt is he?
So, but if you had a white belt, okay, so you have a white belt right in front of you,
Basics.
and it's like, man, I want to switch up my game.
You don't need to switch anything up. If you're a white belt, you need to do basics. You need to know how to. You're not doing a black hole worm guard, all right? Don't tell me that's. I don't know.
Sounds like a thing.
Don't tell me that you want to.
That is a really good name
for. You should work on that.
The worm guard is, but inverted black hole worm guard. Don't tell me you want to do that.
I think I know what the black hole is in that.
Yeah, that's the Keenan. Keenan does the worm guard, but that's like lapel stuff.
But that's not. Stay away from that stuff.
Yeah,
learn the basics. Be good at the basics. But if you do want to, then humble yourself and find those individuals that are good at those moves and ask them to teach you. Watch tutorials. There was a lot of free stuff going on BJ Fanatics, Judo Fanatics. They were giving away a lot of free content. Danaher gave away some stuff. Tom DeBlas gave away stuff. So get the tutorials, get the books, just like you talk about the
Jiu-Jitsu University. Yeah.
That's how I learned to do. That's how I learned to do a lot of the Eddie Bravo stuff, was reading his book.
I think the three of us right here, I know that we're all like that. Whether it's you're not afraid to ask a question, and I know we're not afraid to answer questions. I actually love when somebody says, how the fuck did you just do that? How do I get out of that?
Yeah. I
love teaching somebody what they should do because it makes it harder for me. I have to improve my game because now if I'm teaching them or giving them the key to how to get out of something, now they're going to come back harder.
It forces you.
And again, and then I was like,
evolve.
oh, wow, everybody's got the little kind of fist in the neck when I do my north-south now. All right, everybody figured it out. So what was the next? And then I found something different.
Yeah.
So I don't, advice to Spooky Vamp is don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask your training partner or the guy that's always kicking your ass. ask, hey, how'd you do that? Can you show me how to do that? Because I think everybody loves teaching it. Unless you're like Felipe, who
hesitant.
hesitant. I'm sorry, coach. He's like, there's a couple of moves where he's like, yeah, I'm not
today.
Not today. I'm not going to show you.
Exactly
Here's I guess the last piece of advice for that. Go to class, do your warm-ups, learn a technique, do your open mat, stick around. Stick around and drill. Drill some more, that specific move that you want to do. And while you're in class or while you're drilling, while you're rolling, try to hit that move. Tell yourself, prepare yourself mentally, hey, when I go to the gym, this is the move that I'm going to work on.
Right.
That's what I do. I specifically, again, sometimes the techniques are not for everybody. Though the techniques get taught to everybody, get shown to everyone, they don't work for everybody. I don't do triangles because they don't work for me.
Yeah.
Like you got to be a really small dude for me to get a triangle because my legs aren't that big. Right.
Yeah.
And if I hit it on you, I'm gonna let you know. Hey, thanks, man. I haven't hit a triangle in like about a year.
It's been a while.
So, just to rub it in just a tiny bit.
He's posting the colored triangle emojis on Instagram.
I won't get off the mat like this.
All right, we're gonna because he's got to go. We're gonna do one last question and we'll let you go. Good afternoon from Colorado. I'm a 45-year-old blue belt training 5 or 6 years. I'm enjoying the podcast, so thanks. Could you guys discuss your opinion on sport versus self-defense jiu-jitsu, as well as gyms and academies who promote quickly versus long-term belt academies, either sandbagging for tournaments or old-school professors? I would just enjoy hearing your panel's opinion, etc. Thank you. Keep it up.
What's his name?
Tony B. Loney.
Tony B. Loney?
Tony Baloney.
Tony Baloney.
Tony Baloney.
Even better than Lonely.
Okay.
Go ahead. So we'll let Junior take that first.
Man, that's another loaded question. So I would say fast promoting gyms. This is not karate, right? This is not
I
like
think we have to
karate.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry, but we have to make the distinction between: are you going to a gym that is their jiu-jitsu is based in competition, and are you going to a place that's self-defense? It is two different styles.
For sure.
It's two different, we have people, we have people that do tournaments, and we've talked about it here where somebody's like, she's still a blue belt? What the,
I definitely have something to say about that.
So, but different gyms are competition based, and maybe, hey, look, you're not even going to get a promotion or a stripe until you do well in a tournament, win, or place top 3. Right. And then there's a little bit more the self-defense side. So we, at Fight Sport, our location, we're a little bit of a hybrid. We have some people that compete, and we have more of that competition style of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then, are we learning Gracie combatives? Not at our location. We're not learning that side of it. Although they've done, I know Jason did some stuff with some law enforcement friends of his where they did a little bit more of the, self-defense or, the self-defense style of jiu-jitsu for law enforcement.
Right.
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, about the promotions versus competitions, there's a huge difference between a competitive blue belt and a self-defense blue belt.
Oh, absolutely.
A giant difference. And it's almost like it governs itself in the tournament circuit, I believe.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is sandbagging, great for them. The level of blue belt or purple belt or brown belt is so high at a competitive level that I believe that the Shi you were talking about was just the length of time and grade is completely just
appropriate
in terms of her competitive skill.
And, what I learned about sandbagging specifically though is it's not usually the person.
Yeah.
It's not the blue belt that's sandbagging.
Yeah.
It's the coach that knows you're not a purple belt, a competition purple belt yet.
Yeah.
And if that's sandbagging for that person, I was definitely somebody's like, that guy's sandbagging. Well, Jesus, he said he has a purple belt for 5 years. It's not always him. It's his professor, his coach doesn't believe that he has what it takes to be a competition purple.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. My last tournament at purple belt, the guy was 26 years old. I was in my 40s, 26 years old. These guys, it turned out, had trained with him like when he was 16. So he's a purple belt. He's 26 and he's got his purple belt. I'm a purple belt at 5 years. It's not the same.
It's not.
Again, besides he's half my age, he freaking smashed me.
Yeah.
You know, I was up against a kid who's been doing this. You know, again, he's a purple belt at 26, but I don't know when he was training, how young he started training. Yeah. So, right, he's not getting his blue belt maybe till he's 16, but he could have 5-6 years. And I'm not going, oh, boo hoo hoo. I learned the difference. That was one of the reasons, or that's the way that I learned about the belt system. Yeah, that's not the same purple belt as mine. I've had people say, well, I'll put my belt against any. Sure. Do you compete? No. Yeah. Okay. Go into that competition. Go into an IBJJF.
It's a different world.
It's a different world. It just is.
It's one of the rare sports where you could go to some sort of invitational that's a qualifier for ADCC or something and just be like some Joe Blow and have to roll against Gordon Ryan because you weigh 230 pounds and you're a black belt. But buddy, I mean, if you're not ready, you're going to get yoked up. But it's one of those sports where it's like you can't step on the court with Michael Jordan.
So I interrupted you.
No,
I'm sorry.
So know what it is that you want to do, right? Yeah. Whether it's sport or self-defense, and then how many days a week are you going to train? If you're telling me you only want to train 1 day a week, you're not going to get promoted quickly, right?
And you shouldn't be doing sports. You don't go do a tournament if you're training once a week.
No. And hey, you got to be dedicated. I think when I got my brown belt probably in a year because I was on a mat twice a day for months. So
I got my blue belt in 6 months. I trained 5 days a week, sometimes 6. Wife was pissed off. She was my girlfriend at the time. Yeah. And I would open the gym. I'd teach classes. You know, I was opening, he would open from 5 to 9. So I would open at 5 for the kids' classes. And then as a white belt, I was training the new, it was a brand new gym. So I was I was the senior guy. But then, I got my belt in, won 2 competitions. Yeah. I won a gi and a no gi on my first competition. And I got my blue belt the month after.
But then, conversely...
But that was the difference. I was training like a madman in the beginning.
Yeah. That's what it takes.
And then on the opposite spectrum, it took me 7 years to get my black belt. So, it's... Give yourself...
Training how many days a week on average?
Man, it depends. It
definitely went down from 2 days, right? You weren't training 2 days a week.
No, I wasn't. So, give yourself timelines. 5, a year, 5 years, 10 years. Hey, tell yourself, hey, give yourself 10 years to get your black belt. That's realistic.
So for Tony Baloney, though, in order for us to really give him an answer, the answer is you have to figure out why are you changing jiu-jitsu? You're 45 years old. He says he's a blue belt. So I didn't make that clear before. He's a 45-year-old blue belt. It's probably highly unlikely that at 45 that he's going to be going to high-level competitions. I'm making an assumption, but you make a clear choice of what you are looking for. Yeah. What are you trying to get out of jiu-jitsu? Are you looking to be, do you want to be the, an ADCC champion? Or is it about the camaraderie, the exercise, the self-defense, being able to defend your family? Why are you in it? And make sure you're going to a gym that's teaching you that version of the jiu-jitsu that you want.
Yeah, because there's masters divisions, right? At 45, you can be, you can still compete. You can compete masters.
Right.
But your game is going to be totally different than a 21-year-old blue belt.
Okay. Jiu-jitsu.
So you need to know that. Yeah, your old man jiu-jitsu, you're going to have to slow your game down. You have to be more detailed in execution of your moves. You have to learn your body weight, center of gravity. That's really what, because you and I have rolled, Miguel, we've rolled several times.
Yeah.
You probably got a couple pounds on me.
Yeah.
You got a couple inches of height on me, right? And it's just a matter of, hey, it's being able to, I've been training jiu-jitsu a little bit longer, so I know how to move my center of gravity to work for me when I'm competing with you.
I'm way less, I think I've rolled with both of you, like throughout my spazziness, my super new, and what I would like to think is a little bit more controlled. And it's just, like I said, again, to the camaraderie, like you don't purposely go out to hurt somebody. It's like, you got a job, you have a job, I have a job. Like you just give them a little bit of it, and then you realize, hey, this isn't going anywhere, and then you move on to the next.
So let's just go back. Junior, do you need to go? Do you want to step out? You got to step out. All right, so we'll let him go. I'm going to talk about, for those of you who don't know, Miguel is the guy that. Should I stop? Do you want to stop? Or he's just going to climb out. You want to stop real quick? We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. We appreciate you guys for coming back.
Traffic
Junior had to head off to his security job. We talked about a little bit about that during the show. Unfortunately, he had to go. Next time, we'll start a little earlier for him. So
he actually just disappeared too.
Yeah, poof.
He didn't even.
So let's get into. Yeah, give me a second, guys. Okay, so let's just do a quick thank you to Flow and Roll. They've been a huge supporter of the show. You can check them out at flow_n, the letter N, _roll. So Flow and Roll on Instagram. They sell really cool Jiu-Jitsu t-shirts on their website, and you can get 10% off your online order with coupon code JJD. But please check out their Instagram because they do a lot of really good custom stuff or great custom stuff. They can do competition rash guards for your gym or just your rash guards for your gym, period. But put your, your sponsor logos on. Mm-hmm. They embroider your name on your belt. The
belts look really cool.
It's really, really
I see
cool.
It on Instagram. Yeah.
Call them up. They can they can do keychains with your gym name on. Like they could do pretty much anything. But go to their Instagram again. It's flow_n_roll on Instagram. Reach out. Sean's really cool. Again, been a big supporter of the show. We're working on. We're going to have a gi. I don't know if we're actually going to sell it online. It might just be for our patrons. Right. So he's working on that for us where he's going to actually put our logo onto a Flow and Roll gi and send it out to our podcast patrons. So,
nice.
So we love you, Sean. Thank you so much for being an incredible supporter of the show. So we're going to do our speed round. Again, I keep on saying we probably got to not call it a speed round anymore because these questions wind up going forever. So let's start. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just going to say at least one of the questions isn't going to get sabotaged by.
Yeah. He usually fucks us up with his. He makes you feel bad. Junior makes you feel bad for washing your belt. Right? Yeah. So if you could go back in time. I was going to say what's
a weird question. I'm familiar with the question.
So if you could go back in time and talk to yourself right before you stepped on the mat for the first time, not the white belt zero stripe.
Yeah, gotcha.
What would you tell yourself?
I would probably tell myself to listen more.
Okay.
And then also
listen to who? Training partners,
everybody.
Coach?
Yeah, coach, training partners, myself.
Okay.
And really take it. I'm doing it now, but really take advantage of when they teach you that move of the day to try and implement it instead of trying to do that thing you watch on YouTube on the car ride over. Yeah. Just like, hey, they're teaching you this today. It's like they're focused on teaching you that today, and they're gonna be looking for it today. Okay. So it gives you a chance to see if it's something that works and plays into your game. Okay. Or works on certain people. So if you're rolling against 3-4 people at the end of class, then it works on.
Do you feel like you did that in the beginning though? You'd be like, I'm going to go do this today.
No,
and
yeah,
like, I can't even do that.
I was watching Marcelo Garcia videos and trying to dummy trip people and just trying to do dumb stuff. But
something that we all do.
Yeah.
It's like when people, I did this and then I wish I didn't do that. Yeah. We're kind of like, we laugh because we're like, yeah, we all did that. That's part of the journey, right?
Yeah, right.
We're probably all going to do that stupid thing.
And as corny as it sounds, I watch this podcast and...
that's not corny.
And no, the corny part is coming up. The corny part is I listen to this speed round and I listen to people's answers and I was like, well, I'm in a position where they wish they could be talking to somebody like me. Yeah. So I'm actually taking the advice. Yeah. I'm not taking Andres' advice and learning Portuguese. But I'll just learn the accent because it's fun. But like you said, I wish I had taken better care of my body, which I'm doing. I'm stretching after I roll, and then you have people who say, oh, I wish I would have enjoyed the journey. Like I enjoyed, to a certain extent, getting tapped because it's like, I see it coming, but I don't know the defense to it. So it's like I see it coming. I know it's going to happen. It's like a shark attack. I have no idea how to get away from it, but it's good. I'm enjoying it. I was like, okay, that's an option. Okay, I know that at one point I might be in a position where I'm doing that. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's an option. Now I know to defend for that. It's like just those little things that you guys say and then things that other people say. And I'm sure I'm guilty like everybody else of watching the first 300 things you should learn when you're a white belt.
So for people that do listen to us and have been listening to us, throughout the year, you were the guy that I said, asked me if he could go 100%.
100%, baby.
You were the guy that said, And by no means was I making fun of you.
No,
it was funny
I know you
when
weren't.
you said it. It was exactly what I said it was. It was like, is this guy? What is it? What do you like? In my mind, what is this guy really asking me? So for again, if you haven't listened, we rolled.
Yep.
We had a really good roll. I think we rolled really well together. We have a lot of fun. And you said, "Hey, do you mind if I go 100%?"
Yeah.
And I said to myself, and you had we went pretty good and pretty hard. And I said, this motherfucker, did he just tell me he took it easy on me?
That was a short round.
Are you asking because you just that was your way of telling me that hey, listen, old man.
No.
I just went light on you. I'm going to go harder.
Thank you for bringing it up.
And then, but then we rolled. And what did I tell you after that roll?
It was, it's strength, technique over strength.
But what did I wind up telling you? Like, if I recall correctly, I told
I know
you
exactly what you told me.
You rolled better.
Yeah, when
you were the first roll.
Exactly.
Because the 100% was like, "Rah!"
But I wanted to quantify that myself.
Okay.
And just thank you for letting me defend myself real quick.
Got to.
Yeah. So where that came from in my head was like, okay, I'm doing what I've been taught to do.
Okay.
But I wanted to gauge it and compare it to, okay, what if you just go crazy, right? In terms of just use all your strength with whatever technique comes out of that instead of balancing it. Okay. And it didn't work. And it still doesn't work. I still try and muscle out of stuff. Man, 10 months, you think I'd be able to maybe pass Flo's guard? Hasn't happened.
I think a lot of people have to understand, especially when you're getting started in the beginning, if you're rolling with the higher belt, we're usually you have the volume, you have the remote.
Yeah.
And if you turn up the volume, we're going to meet you.
It matches.
And if you try to flow, or even again, you cannot be scared to tell your training partner, especially if it's a higher belt, hey, you mind if we work on this?
Right.
Hey, how did you do that? Can I start in your guard? Can you start in my guard? I'm really weak here. I want to do that. There's nobody that's going to tell you, what are you doing? No, fight to the death. Start on your feet. Okay, let's start on our feet. Hey, once we start, hey, do you mind? Can you teach me how to do this? Nobody's going to tell you no, and you can't be afraid. If you're afraid to ask your training partners, especially after you get to know them a little bit, I think that you're in the wrong place. You should be able to talk to people. Right. You shouldn't be a jiu-jitsu dummy, a grappling dummy, and get thrown around and say, man, I always get beat up. You should be able to talk to a partner and say, listen, I really want to work on this. Can I do this? Can I start from you side control? Because, man, you always get me from here, or you always do the same escape. Show me how you do that. I've never encountered somebody 6 years in who says, fuck no, let's roll. I want to rip your head off. Yeah. It never happened. So you can't be scared to do that. And you're definitely someone who's vocal and says, hey, how'd you do that? So.
Well, the gym we go to is really, really nice too. It's not a whole bunch of people trying to get their heads, there's not a bunch of headhunters there.
Yeah.
And I've noticed a lot too, even while I'm rolling, even Professor will do it. He'll jiggle a hand out and be like, this is what you're supposed to grab. Or he'll make a move. Exactly. Yeah. So it's really nice that even in the middle of a roll, they see me stuck in a position and they're like, right here. Yeah. Right there.
So that goes back to, what you're kind of saying there, let's go, it goes to the second question and kind of goes back to what we said before. So other than achieving the rank of black belt, what's your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu? And I stop and ask that question where you're talking because you just recently said you wanted to start competing, or you wanted to at least compete. I don't know if that means you'll compete forever, or you just want to test yourself at this level. But what are you looking to get out of jiu-jitsu? Do you feel like you want to be that competition guy, or do you feel like I'm more of a self-defense guy? I like the camaraderie. What camp do you feel like you fall in?
I'd hate to quote an El Paso commercial, but why not both? I think that I do want to compete because it's an option.
And how old are you?
I'm 36 now.
Okay, you still have time.
I feel good. I don't have a lot of injuries. I wrestled in high school. I did combatives in the military. I don't know.
You're more comfortable than the average person.
I'm not going to be nervous on the mats. I'll tell you that. I think I'll probably be nervous in the sense of I don't know how it's going to be to go against strangers, but I go against strangers all the time because strangers come to our gym all the time, on Saturdays and stuff like that on open mat. And I'm sure there'll be some nerves, but I also just like it's good to go to a place. It's a good hangout. It's a good grown-up hangout type of place where you could go. It's not like a bar or something like that. It's you go there, you get your exercise in, you get your light, you get kind of your night in order, and you get to talk. You get to talk.
other human beings. You're a father of two small children.
Exactly.
So you get to talk to some other adults.
Yeah, exactly. You get to talk to some other adults, and you get to get your endorphins ramped up.
So other than achieving the rank of a black belt, now that we know that, what's your ultimate goal in jiu-jitsu?
Do it
for
forever.
you, your personal goal.
To get rolled into the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody choke you out and then just throw you in.
Exactly. Yeah, the goal is longevity. That is the goal.
Next question, what's the craziest jiu-jitsu related thing that's happened to you on or off the mat? It's been a year since you've been training.
Yeah.
But even with your combatives in the military, what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you?
To me personally, I would say just funny stuff is probably like the craziest things. Like you find yourself in like really weird positions where you don't know what to do, so you just laugh. Mm-hmm. It like like I guess the weirdest thing would just be like the occasional like private park grab. Like that's always like crazy. Like,
and we train with we train with a group of girls.
Yeah,
we train with some women, I should say.
Yeah.
Including Janet, who's a regular on the show.
I've been, like I said, I'm real new, so I like to, like, I'm more of a smasher, and I grab shoulders a lot when I'm climbing up on legs, and sometimes I've missed a shoulder and I've grabbed something else that's shaped like a shoulder.
And you know what their advice to us is? Just keep on rolling. Don't make a big deal about it.
I don't even say anything
because they don't care.
Get after it.
If you're not letting go, that's one thing. But if you hit a boob, it's like just continue on. It's part of the game. They understand it. They're not offended. They're not going to get mad.
And it goes the other way too.
If you make a big deal about it,
it goes the other way too. It's not a big deal. But yeah, that would probably be my craziest thing. I don't think I have enough time in the game to really have a super crazy story. But no broken limbs, no nothing crazy.
So biggest weakness. What's the thing that you're working on the most to improve? This is a newer question, so it's only been on the last couple of episodes.
Biggest weakness for me would have to be when I am on bottom and playing guard, recovering guard, because people passing my guard at this point is, I mean, it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But just recovering and just focusing on keeping on moving and just energy management. Okay. I've been working really hard on managing my energy. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I know what you do when you're not off the mat or when you're not on the mats, but what do you do when you're not on the mats? I know that, you're always fishing and things like that. Like, what's the hobby? Well, what do you do for a living, first of all? You're an engineer, right?
I'm not an engineer, like officially, but I am what would be considered like a field engineer. Okay. And my official title is I'm an assistant project manager for a water well drilling company. Okay. And we actually drill all the wells here and rehabilitate all the wells for the water treatment plants, and we also do water treatment plant work to ensure clean drinking water for municipalities. Okay. And then also wastewater management as well. Yeah.
And then the family. I always see you fishing.
Yep.
It seems like that's the big thing.
Fishing.
Is that the love?
I love fishing. I have a bow. I like shooting my bow. One day I'd like to go, hunt a boar, and the end goal would be I would love to not have to go to a grocery store to buy meat. Okay. Yeah, so that way just have a freezer.
Boy, I know when I meet somebody who watches a lot of Joe Rogan like myself.
And, I was like that before. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I just like doing stuff. I mean, I used to run ultra marathons. Actually, there's this one ultra marathon. It's a 100-miler in North Carolina. It's called the Umstead 100. Okay. I ran it with a really good friend of mine. His name is Tom Sowers. And I remember at mile 70, my hip started hurting really bad and I fell. And I did not finish that race. Mm-hmm. And I still have the shirt, and I actually think I threw it away last week. And that was like in 2008, I ran this race. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why do I have this shirt? I didn't finish the race. So like one of my new goals is to train to run that 100-miler.
Get the shirt.
And finish it.
Been there, got the shirt.
And earn the shirt.
Yeah.
They give you the shirt after you complete the 50-miler because it's also a 50-mile race. Okay. So, but I got injured at mile 70 something, and okay. It's one of those things. Like, I don't know. I'm sure everybody as a grown up, you start reflecting back at things you did, and it's one of those things where I'm just like driving and I'll punch the steering wheel, and I get mad that I didn't finish. Okay. So I want to finish that.
So you have 2 kids,
correct?
Your daughter how old is your daughter?
She's 7 now. Man.
7. She's been doing jiu-jitsu for how long now?
Over a year.
Over a year?
She outranks me for sure.
and your son hasn't started jiu-jitsu yet?
He's been to a couple classes.
You're getting him ready though, right?
Oh, he wants to go. He'll sit there, he listens. We practice at home. Like it's part of our bedtime routine. Yeah. He wants to pass the guard and do arm bars and stuff. Yeah, no, it's cool. Both of them.
Have they been, I know you said they're away right now, but have they been, or has your daughter been training since the quarantine?
No.
Did she stop at the beginning of the quarantine? Hasn't been back. Now they're away. So would she be at the camp and
if she was
Fight
here,
Sports
she would
camp?
have been.
Yeah.
If she was here right now, she would have been. And maybe when they come back, I will put her in it, and Cooper as well. And but yeah, as soon as they get back, now that things are in full swing over at Fight Sports, they're both going. Yeah,
and big shout out. We have probably one of the bigger Fight Sports facilities.
Yeah.
We have probably one of the bigger jiu-jitsu facilities, period.
Dude, great with kids.
And they're awesome with kids. They have a camp going on right now. So if you're looking for a place to put your kids, and it's not just jiu-jitsu, they do crafts, they do Nerf wars, everything. They do movies,
movie nights,
pizza and popcorn the other day. You know, they do lots of cool stuff. It's a camp that just happens to also do jiu-jitsu. So if you are not, if you're worried about putting your kid in a camp right now, go check out Fight Sports.
And
Coral
they're really
Springs.
clean too. They're taking it super serious.
Ask for Felipe. Give them a call. Look them up online. Give them a call. And they really have an incredible program. And I think if you are somebody who wants to get their kids into jiu-jitsu and you don't know if they're going to like it, this is probably a really good way. Yeah. Oh wait, I'm gonna watch a movie, do crafts, and then go do jiu-jitsu. Like it's mixed in with it's the old school. The Grace used to say, play jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. It's a place where they're gonna get to play first and then go and learn jiu-jitsu, which is good. So they're gonna get the discipline of jiu-jitsu, but they're gonna have a lot of fun, meet a lot of great kids.
And those kids are great, man. I mean, I'm there when they're there all the time, because my kids go and it's like, man, those kids they're good kids. I mean, if you're a parent, you hang around with other people with kids, and you see it, man. Like you see the discipline in those children, and you know what, they get that energy out, which is really good. They need to, they're little balls of energy. All right, so our last question, you know which one this is. Oh yeah. Okay. Do you or do you not wash your belt, and why? Wash your belt, you bunch of nasties. Golly, I'm not superstitious, that's why. Yeah. Okay. Guess what, you show up every day, you work hard every day. Love it. You're going to get better. Love it. Junior. Oh, he's not here. Yeah, Junior. So I was going to ask Junior if his opinion has changed since COVID, but probably not. He's a little bit of a conspiracy theory guy. I'll smell it when it comes back. So when he starts rolling. He's just like, just get out there, lick it, just get sick already so you can get through it. So, all right. So guys, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Thank you for doing this, Miguel. We appreciate you. I actually, when we went to the Substars event down, was it Substars or was it it was the JitzKing's event? Yeah, it was JitzKing. I remember Mauricio on the chair. Yeah, it was JitzKing, and we won all. This is the other guy that won all the other gis. All of the gis, and then we won 5 of 5. Yeah, I kept one. I wear it. Very comfortable. I still have one here. I'm just waiting for somebody to give it to for that, like that has that size. Yeah. But I've given away 2 to podcast patrons. We still have one, but you were the guy that won the other ones. We still wear mine. It's my thank you for doing this. We appreciate you. But we've been talking about, Mauricio and I spoke about, who would be really good to have on the show? We both said Miguel for different reasons. Yeah. He didn't say it because of that event. He said it. He's like, who's funny and he has a great opinion. And it was you. And I said, after the JitzKing event, I had it in the back of my mind because you were just we were hysterical laughing in the car. You were just making us laugh every 5 minutes. So I was like, we got to have him on. So, and that's what, this was conceived. You said something before. This whole idea was conceived from me, Junior, and Mauricio going to have beers at Sicilian Oven in Coral Springs. Great, that place is awesome. Holy smokes. We used to go down there and we just have a couple of beers, have some wings. And I would almost always leave and go, number one, I just felt so great, talking to these guys who, getting to know them. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, man, I wish we could record that. I had never dreamed of, I wasn't that big of a Rogan fan that I thought I wanted to do what he does. There was never a plan. My life's plan was never to be a podcaster. Right. It was just could we do this? And then when I told my wife the idea and she said, oh, there's some people that record a podcast in the office. You should do it there. I was just like, all right, I know marketing. I know Bo who does production. I know I could do this. Yeah. I talk for a living to begin with in my sales job. I do meetings. I train people. It's like, maybe we could do this and have a little bit of fun. And it's
Now it's
look
this.
at you now.
Now it's this. And again, it was never anything we wanted to do, but we always knew that we wanted to have you on. And I say all that to say, I'd love for you to be. We have more fun doing the roundtables and having the guests come in than doing them on Skype. So open invitation. We usually, we could fit 4 chairs in here. We're selling this place, and we're probably going to move into, we're shooting in my home. We're probably going to move to a bigger. We are moving to a bigger house. Hopefully, we'll have a little more space.
Right.
We might even set it up in a way where I might be able to take over the garage, whatever it may be. Oof. We might have some mats.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah. Wife is totally on board. She's like, take the garage. I don't need it. So she's like, she would prefer, save the money and do it in the house than pay for an office. But point being, we'd love to have you on. We'd love for you to, kind of be a regular within our roundtable group.
I appreciate it.
So, we definitely want to see more of you if you're down for it. Hopefully you had fun today.
I am. This has been a blast. Yeah, this is great.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to do, you know the drill. I'm going to do a little housekeeping now. We jumped around a little bit. I usually kind of write a little bit of an outline of what we definitely want to, things we want to hit on. So I just got to go back. There was a couple of things that, shout outs that we wanted to do. So number one, this is a little bit weird, maybe for some. So I just did a little spring cleaning because we're moving. I have a shitload of gis, and I got 2 boxes of t-shirts and I don't know if I have rash guards in there, but no gi shorts. If there's somebody in South Florida who, number one, could use it or knows somebody that could, I've got 2 decent sized boxes. They're about that big, full of t-shirts that I wear on the show, stuff from the Jiu-Jitsu Podcast store, Choke Responsibly stuff, sponsor stuff. Now, I'm an XL. Some of it's XL and double XL, so they won't fit you, Bo.
Grande.
If you are 5'10 and a half, 5'11", 225 to 235 at any given point, so I'm all XL and double XL. If you could use the stuff, or if you know somebody who could, or I've had people say, "Oh, I ship it down to South America." I don't care what you do with it. I'd really like to give it to somebody who's going to use it, rather than drop it off at one of these donation places, Salvation Army, which is never going to get into the hands of somebody who does jiu-jitsu. Most of the stuff is jiu-jitsu related or MMA related. Again, no gi shorts, t-shirts. Hit me up. Send me a message on one of our social media sites, or just send me an email at info@jujitsudummies.com. I would love to just drop it off or meet somebody here in the South Florida area and just give it versus having to put it all in a box and ship it, because I really don't want to be walking to the post office because everything that's going on. So anyway, we've got that used gear. Again, otherwise it's just going to wind up in a, in a donation.
Got it.
What do you call it? Like Salvation Army or one of these places.
Goodwill, something like that.
Oh, Goodwill. Yeah, like one of those places. So, okay, with that being said, thank you again to Fightback CBD. You can check them out at fightbackcbd.com, and you can use code JJD to get 15% off your order. All right. Check out our podcast store it's jujitsudummies.shop. You can get 10% off with code JJD as well. We've gone away from that long code that we were giving out with the podcast number. So 10% off JJD. We have ranked rash guards, t-shirts, face shields, backpacks, coffee mugs, and if you order over $50 worth of product, you're going to get free shipping. Now, anybody out there that would like to work with us or sponsor the show, see your logo up on this screen, reach out to us again on social media, Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, pretty much everywhere. Or, again, you can send an email to info@jujitsudummies.com. You can even, on the .com, you can go to our contact page and you could suggest a guest that you want to see, or, ask us a question, submit a question for the show. People that request, anybody that sent us a question that we use on the show today, they're going to win a bottle of CBD and a $25 gift card to the podcast store. So they'll get those 2 things. We usually do it a couple. You've won a couple of times, right?
Yeah,
before I knew you were Rico the Spoon, right? That's your handle on.
Yeah.
Is it also on YouTube? So you won some stuff on YouTube before.
Yeah, exactly.
Podcast patrons, thank you for your support. If you want to be part of the show, you get a shout out on an episode, or on every episode right now. You will also get that invitation to the Zoom roundtables with We Defy. So you can go to patreon.com/Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You can join for as little as $5 a month. You're basically pledging money every month. You get entered into 2 drawings every single month of, it's about $100 in jiu-jitsu swag.
Wow.
So I'm usually giving you a choice of, do you want a gi, which will be the new flow and roll gis with our logo on it, or you can opt for a $100 gift card to the podcast store. So we let you basically choose. And that's 2 drawings every single month. So you're entered into those automatically. You'll get some cool perks like being part of the Zoom meetings. All right. So shout out to current sponsors, Frank House, Liam Berg. Thank you, Liam, for being on the first Zoom. Excuse me. He's overseas in Scotland. And Wolseley Rivera up here. They are our newest. He's down here in actually South Florida or up around Orlando. Mm-hmm. Those are our newest podcast patrons. BOA Athletics. Check them out on Instagram at BOA_athletics. Also going to shout out Michael Pixley Jr., Jason Smiley, Eric Perkins. I think all of these guys, they've won either. We just awarded the patron winners for March through May. Okay. So we had 6 winners total. These are some of them. Again, they're podcast patrons. So again, Jason Smiley, Eric Perkins, Britt Tover, James Fisher, CJ Carroll, and Mission 22. Thank you guys for your support. Chuck Red Door out in Hawaii, and Roberto Santiago, who is newly out of Facebook jail. He's been posting about that a lot. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but welcome back to Facebook, Roberto. You can catch me on at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram, and you can check out our foundation at the JJD Foundation on IG, at the JJ Dummies FDN on Twitter, and you can check out our GoFundMe, which is going to be awarding Jiu-Jitsu scholarships to either children in need or just a kid that's doing some really spectacular stuff.
Nice.
We've got a couple of people in mind. We've had a couple of submissions, and we'll talk about that more. We said we were going to do it by the end of June, but COVID still kind of screws us up with a few things. Plus, I want to have the gis done, so probably going to push it back to some point in July. Plus, with the second wave, I'm not sure who's going to be, what school's going to be open.
Man. Let's see what happens.
You know, it's to be determined. So, again, want to thank all of our podcast patrons for your support. If you want to support the show but don't want to become a patron or just do a one-time, the show is one entity. The foundation is its own nonprofit organization. It is separate from the show. So you can go to GoFundMe and just search Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You will see our campaign, and you can donate really whatever you want. And again, that money is going to go towards paying for jiu-jitsu for just a cool kid either in need or, somebody that's doing some really good things out there in the community. So thank you, everybody. That's all we've got for you today. Again, we appreciate you guys listening. Let us know if you have any questions. Again, if we use them on the show, you can win some cool stuff.
Nice.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so
I
much for
appreciate
having
you
me
for doing this. We're going to go watch some UFC tonight.
Let's do it. Yeah, eat a big steak.
We're going to eat a big steak. We're going to drink some beers, and we're going to.
That's right. Big shout out to my brother-in-law. He's got the big green egg. It's going to be a great night.
Very cool. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you so much. Stay safe, please. Be aware of your surroundings and who you're around. But hopefully we get back to life pretty soon. So
yeah.
Take care, guys. Us. Woo. All right, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have a good time, man.